Okay, it's after 5 o'clock on Wednesday. I know I'm late. I'm a procrastinator. You guys should probably know that by now. And I am going to talk about last week's edition of NXT, which basically is kind of an addendum to NXT Takeover Brooklyn, because the matches that were actually on that show that I'm about to talk about from this past week were filmed before they went live in Brooklyn for the actual taping itself. It was taped for this show that I'm about to talk about. But before I do that, I did want to tell you that I got my mail and didn't get my annual pass holder newsletter yet. Hopefully soon. That really awesome sticker is going to be going on my refrigerator next to my Disney one as well. So yeah, I have both Disney and Universal annual pass holder things on my refrigerator because I don't have a car. Everyone knows that. In more ways than one. So, when it comes down to it, yeah, because I don't have a go-kart or anything like that, so that's the reason why I don't have a car. I don't drive. It's just a personal thing. But I did get something in my mail today that was really interesting. This is my friend Christopher Ripley, and he did this book called The Halloween Horror Nights, The Unofficial Story and Guide 2015. And this is what it looks like. It just got to me today, and it's really cool that he actually inscribed. You can't really see it very well, but it basically says, "To Owen, Happy Halloween," from Christopher Ripley. So yeah, I'm going to be reading this very soon. I'll be talking about this in the near future. So thank you, Christopher, for having that contest on their Facebook group and giving me an opportunity to win your book. And I'm very excited to be able to read it. Let's talk NXT, shall we? We are really close, really close. We're 14 days away from Orlando, 14 days away from Halloween Horror Nights 25 team member advanced screaming preview, and I'm still trying to get in right now. So if you are a team member or know a team member that can get 2 tickets for Halloween Horror Nights 25 advanced screaming preview, get it, Sir Owen Disney, because I would more than appreciate being able to go in yet again. But let's talk NXT, shall we? This was also from the Barclays Center, and it's an addendum, like I said, to the Takeover Brooklyn show, and the podcast that we did, which is going to be a link in the description bar below. And right now it's got about 357 hits on it. And the wrestling podcasts have been doing quite well. So the Raw podcast, the SummerSlam podcast, check that out on Pop here. Or if you're on the mobile device right now, or if you're on Facebook right now, there's easy ways to access those videos. But we're going to talk about this show, and this show starts off with a good rundown of TakeOver Brooklyn. There's highlights from Kevin Owens and Finn Balor, the ladder match for the NXT Championship, and the Vaudevillains winning the NXT Tag Team Championships. This is basically a fallout from TakeOver, and this was a 90-minute version, so in all essence, you got over 3 hours of action if you were in the Barclays Center that night. Drew, I'm really jealous of you, brother. So, we start off the show with an 8-man tag. Tag teams being featured this time around being the Mechanics, Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson, and their tag team partners this time around would be Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, the former Shoot Nation. And they are going to be facing off against the Hype Bros, my boy Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley, whatevs. And easily the most over tag team in NXT, Enzo Amore and Big Cass, Colin Cassidy. So the second that Enzo's music hits, monster pop from the crowd. And they've got Enzo section signs. And there's somebody in the crowd that has a sign that says Full Sail University. It's SAWFT, obviously. Enzo is pandering to the crowd in good fashion. He's wearing the Yankee pinstripes, he's got a Yankee jacket on, and he's got like blonde hair now with like lightning bolts down the sides. It's very weird, but I think it fits. Sing Along with Enzo is the most deafening it's ever been in forever. You got 15,000 people singing along with Enzo, and my God, it was insane. I can only imagine being there live and hearing the entire building just shake at the mere force of everyone saying every single thing about Enzo Amore's promo. I thought it would be amazing to be there for it live. The How You Doing chant starts immediately. Big Cass says, New York City, how you doing? Brooklyn, we go hard. And our opponents, well, they're just one word, and we're going to spell it out for you. S-A-W-F-T, soft. Yes. Here comes the Hype Bros. Good reaction for Zack Ryder. And Mojo sucks. Rich Brennan and Corey Graves are on commentary this time around. And it is announced once again there's 15,589 people, just like that were at TakeOver, because it was filmed right before TakeOver, so it makes perfect sense. Then come the mechanics, Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson. They're wearing red ring jackets. They really remind me very much of the Brainbusters, more so than ever before this time around. Minnesota Wrecking Crew and the Brainbusters, obviously, like old school tag teams. And Anderson involved, and I'm not just saying that because Scott Dawson could be a long-lost son of Ole or Arn Anderson at this point, and he wrestles just like it, and I really enjoy the throwbacks that are the mechanics. I always have. And the New World's Greatest Tag Team of Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. I really enjoy this team as well. I think they're really great. And they're wearing like scarlet and gray, so you got two shouts out to my good friend Jock Sampson. You have the Anderson look, and then you have the Ohio State University Buckeyes colors for Gable and Jordan. Don't know how that endears them to the New York crowd, because I don't really know anything about sports, but I thought something that needed to be brought up. We get a "We Want Enzo" chant immediately, and before the commercial, we get a really nice spot up here where everyone is cleared from the ring, but Dash Wilder decides he wants to go to the top rope. He catches a gut shot from Enzo, he gets thrown in the corner by Big Cass, and then on top of that, he eats Mojo's Big Splash in the corner, and then the broski boot from Zack Ryder. Well, everyone powders to the floor, and Enzo is launched by Big Cass, Air Hardy style, over the top rope and onto all the heels on the floor. I thought that was a really nice move, and that's why I wanted to mention it before we go to commercial break, and we go into the actual, me talking about the match. That's the reason I wanted to do it. I pretty much do it after the commercial break, if it goes to commercial break. If not, I hit the high spots, and that's how we do. So we come back from live action. Jason Jordan is working over Enzo, and they basically cut the ring off on Enzo. They just make sure he cannot tag out. They tag in Chad Gable. He locks in a Jujigatami in the ropes, and Dawson tags in with an arm wringer, tags in his tag partner, and he hits a middle rope axe handle for a near fall, and stomp away after Dawson tags back in. Top wrist lock, and he twists with it, and he twists with it, and he finally locks it in tight, tags Chad Gable in, and the step over arm bar, and Enzo ends up finally getting out of this by pulling Gable into the middle turnbuckle. So Gable charges in, and he eats the boot of Enzo, and Gable pulls Enzo away from the corner right before he's about to make the tag, but it was to no avail, and hits a one-footed monkey flip, which looked awesome, by the way. Tags Dash Wilder in for a near fall. He goes for one, a European uppercut, shoves him off to the ropes, and a shoulder block puts him on the buckle. And a "We Want Cass" chant starts up. He climbs up, and he gets knocked off. Enzo hits a Scott Taylor happy flying DDT. Yeah, I would have made Scotty 2 Hotty a very happy guy when seeing it, because he did it oh so well. Or Shinjiro Otani. Otani and Scott Taylor special for the flying DDT. Jason Jordan ends up tagging in. He cuts off Enzo's tag and whips him in. He charges in, and he mocks Cass. Of course, Enzo out of the way, and Gable tags in, and he goes for a slingshot, and Enzo headbutts him off the ring apron. This is his opportunity. His final golden chance to make that tag, to get a legal man in that's completely fresh. So Dawson tosses Gable in the ring to keep his team from losing by cutting off the fresh tag to Big Cass. But Enzo does end up making the tag, and Cass, like House of Fire, 3 right hands to Gable, catches Dawson with a knee lift when he tries to get back in the ring, the charging splash, the big boot, the Empire elbow, all to Chad Gable. 1-2, Jason Jordan makes the save. So Jordan with a whip in, and the splash misses, does Big Cass. Jordan eats the Rough Rider, and Zack Ryder is victimized by the Shatter Machine, which I love that spot. That spot's amazing. Mojo with a tornado punch to Dawson. Fireman's carry slam to Dash Wilder. Cass with the East River crossing to Gable. Tags Enzo in, and rocket launcher, 1, 2, 3. Baby faces go over in the opening match. Good match to hype the crowd up, pun not intended here. Actually, more so, probably is more intended to say that, because you have the crowd really wanting to get into Enzo and Cass, and they're going to cheer for them, and they're going to get the biggest pop in the night, regardless. So, it completely, to this day, blows my mind they weren't on the TakeOver card. But they basically are on TakeOver Part 2 the week next. So, I mean, I guess that's a way to look at it. That's the reason why we skipped over, obviously, because there's no reason to recap TakeOver, because I already did a podcast on it. So, yeah, that's something that had no reason to be going through. I will say right now the match was good. I enjoyed it, really got the crowd into it, and the right team went over, and everybody got their stuff in, and that's how it should be. I enjoyed the match for what it was. William Regal's promoting the Dusty Rhodes Classic Tag Team Tournament, and that starts tonight. Tonight on NXT, September 2nd's edition of NXT, and it's going to culminate in the finals at TakeOver on October 7th. Where TakeOver is going to be, whether it's Full Sail or abroad, it's anyone's guess. I'm going to guess it's Full Sail. Which sucks because that means it's only 2 days after I leave town. I can't afford to add another couple days. I wish I could. Adrian Neville shows up. He's a former tag team champion, and he obviously has a lot of heartfelt when it comes to Dusty, and he definitely wants to do him proud by being involved in the tournament. William Regal's like, for everything you've done for this company, I definitely want to give you that match. And that's exactly what we get right there. So it pretty much says right away that Regal is going to agree to put Adrian Neville in the tag team tournament. So makes sense. Adrian Neville, former tag team champion, Oliver Gray back in the day, and Sami Zayn. So, I mean, yeah, he definitely knows what it's like to hold tag team gold, and he's part of the tag team, generation of NXT, so. A lot of people obviously talk about his singles work, and his singles work is absolutely stellar, but his tag team work is pretty much where it all started. So we get clips from Balor and Owens, and basically Finn is after the match. He's holding the championship. He says he's the rightful champion, proving right now that Tokyo definitely wasn't a fluke. He deserves to be champion. This is a new side of Finn Balor, and again, the future is now, so you ain't seen nothing yet, is basically what he's saying here. Good promo, really nice fire from Finn Balor, but what do you expect? It's Finn Balor, he's great. Emma has a great promo video which highlights the evolution or the evolution of Emma here, obviously going from the bubbly girl to the sultry sex pot that she is now. That's the best way to put it, even though now when she comes out tonight she's dressed like an American gladiator. But that's only me. I guess I'm a big fan of Emma's work, and I really hope that they do something more with her other than just making her like the lapdog Dana Brooke, who basically looks like a street walker with the way she was dressed tonight. Way too much makeup, and she's got studs on. She's wearing pink and like tutus and rhinestones. I mean, yeah, no. Dana Brooke looks like a street walker. Devin Taylor's in the back with Charlotte and Becky Lynch, and Charlotte basically talks about Dana Brooke, and Becky, of course, puns it up like she normally does. Charlotte woos, and then we roll right into a great segue into a Becky Lynch hype video that we saw this past weekend on SmackDown. Obviously, everyone doesn't watch SmackDown, but still. So we follow up 2 of the Women's Wrestling Revolution into a match featuring the most hated superstar on the NXT women's roster, and that is Eva Marie. And Eva Marie has, like, monster heat when she comes out. She's wearing a robe, and like I said, to put Eva Marie as the leader of this coalition with Emma and Dana Brooke, I think it's a missed opportunity if they don't go with it. It's 3 bad girls that just do bad things to good people, and I really think that they should flow with that. I think it'd actually be a great idea and a great suggestion to move on into the future. She faced off against Carmella, who got a great reaction with her, obviously, her Izzy Azalea rip-off theme, and got a decent reaction just because of the connection to Enzo and Cass. But yeah, the match just wasn't good. If you want to talk about Eva Marie in her first match, how it looked bad, this was really bad. It got a "We Want Blue Pants" chant from the crowd. I know a lot of people would rather have seen that, but obviously I would have too, but it would have blown the spot for later on in the night, so I understand exactly why they didn't do that. Red versus Blue, I think, is coming to WWE and NXT very soon. So yeah, you get it on like video games and all sorts of like channels. Now you're going to get Red versus Blue. Blue Pants versus Eva Marie. I think it's probably a feud that's pretty much gift-wrapped if they want to go with it. I'm pretty sure they will, because God knows Eva Marie needs to work with people that can work. She looked rough in this match, really. Carmella didn't look great either. I've never been a fan of Carmella's ring work either, but I mean, she's not terrible, I guess. So they fought over an atomic drop, which finally lands, sorta. A one-footed drop kick by Carmella, and eventually Eva Marie hits a really ugly-looking back senton for a near fall. Carmella gets mocked, and it comes off as try hard. AJ likes to use that word a lot. It's very true. It's try hard. So there's a swinging Rana, somewhat like a swinging head scissor, basically. It's not really a Rana, it was like a swinging head scissor. And 2 Fez press, which Rich Brennan, God bless him, called a Bronco Buster. Yeah, I don't want Rich Brennan to become Mike Adamle. I really don't. I hope they don't go that route. Staten Island Shuffle ends up with a shoulder block, a hair pull takedown, which has no right in a women's wrestling match in 2015. Eva Marie stops her flow with a jawbreaker and hits a really awkward-looking sliced red and gets the 3 count. Yeah, this match wasn't good. Definitely the low point of the show, without a doubt, like anyone would believe otherwise. So, yeah, they're going to push Eva Marie because they see something in her that obviously we don't. So, I mean, we'll see if she improves. I mean, don't forget, Trish Stratus started out as a fitness model, and look where she is now. So, who knows what's going to happen with Eva Marie when it's all said and done. We get footage of Tyler Breeze and Jushin Thunder Liger from TakeOver. I really enjoyed that match. And Tyler Breeze is saying that he gets to look the way he does, and Liger has to wear a mask for the rest of his life. It's not over between these two, and I'm like, yes, give me another match now. Let Breeze win this feud. I think it'd be a great rub for him, without a doubt. He says he's got an idea that's going to put him on the map. Now, there's a couple things that pop in my mind here. And the first thing that pops in my mind is something unheard of that I think would not work unless they really wanted to push the envelope. And I mean push the envelope. The idea I've got is mask versus hair. Breeze puts his gorgeous locks up against the decades-old mask of Jushin Thunder Liger. Because I can't necessarily imagine Breeze getting his head shaved, but I think it's funny because it would be quite appropriate, because when Marcus Louis got his head shaved, Tyler Breeze was the first one to jump on him. So I think it would be turnabout is fair play if they did that, and it would give Tyler Breeze a new, more aggressive streak. But Zoolander's coming out, so you can't take the hair away. I think this is going to lead to what's going to end up putting Tyler Breeze in the Dusty Rhodes Classic. Why? Because he's already set to team up with someone that does not make any sense. That's what I think Regal's going to do. It's like, I don't like your idea, I like mine instead. And I'm going to put you in the Tag Team Classic. I'm going to make you team with Bull Dempsey. So that's what we're leading towards. That's what I think is going to end up happening. Which is fine. As long as Tyler Breeze ends up on top at the end of this feud, I'm completely fine with it. Because this is a feud that's going to make Tyler Breeze for many, many months and many years to come, honestly, when Jushin Liger puts him away. Now, granted, it's not puts him away, puts him over. It's not exactly the Jushin Liger that was wrestling, was multiple-time champion in IWG, a multiple-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. It wasn't the Jushin Liger that was feuding with Brian Pillman, WCW. It's not even the Jushin Liger from, Ring of Honor 5 years ago. It's a new Jushin Liger. It's an older Jushin Liger, but still, it's Jushin Liger and has credibility. And if you beat someone like Jushin Thunder Liger, you're going to get more credibility, and it's going to be able to get yourself over faster. And I think that's exactly what they should do with Tyler Breeze to give him the win in this feud in the long run. I think Breeze wins the next time. I think they have a blow-off feud, and I think Breeze takes it, and it, skyrockets him to hopefully be in contention for what I think is going to happen before the end of this year, if not waiting until January and doing a secondary championship for NXT, which I've been calling for months that I really think they badly need at this point. Emma and Dana are talking in the back, and Emma says looking dominant and being dominant are two different things, and says that Becky Lynch will become the biggest joke in the WWE. I'm telling you, I still think they're pushing the wrong member of this Power Buff Girls stable. I really do, because I really think Becky Lynch is the one they should be pushing. I understand the name recognition for Charlotte. I get that, but I think Becky overall is better, and I really wish they would see that. She's getting wins, but I mean, it's not as dominant as she possibly should be. Got a hype video for Dana Brooke? Don't care. Highlights of Sasha and Bayley, which was easily the match of the weekend, if not one of the matches of the year. Right now, it's probably in my top. God, it's probably my match of the year right now because it's so great. Bayley is commenting on actually winning being a lot better than the dream of winning, and having the 4 horsewomen, yes, they're even called that, was great. She wants them around all the time, even though they're up in the main roster now. She still wants them there with her at all times. Bayley's mom comes in and hugs her. Her family comes in. It's a great emotional moment for Bayley, and she really deserves it. She will be the face of NXT when it comes to the women's division. I think that's deservingly so, and I think I saw something over the week that I thought was rather interesting that I don't think I have trouble disagreeing with. Bayley could be the female John Cena when she gets brought up to the WWE. She will definitely sell the magical tracking bands, the slap bracelets. She'll sell the headbands. She'll sell the merch. She appeals to children without a doubt. And obviously, wrestling fans, she appeals to them. So she appeals to both demographics, both children and fans alike. So, I'm not saying wrestling fans can't be children, I'm just saying there's obviously a child's demographic and there's an adult demographic, and she appeals to both of them. So, I really think that Bayley's going to be something big when she gets brought up to the main roster, but don't do it yet. My God, please don't bring any more people up to the main roster. They need to start firing people if they're not, or, yeah, they have to at this point. They kind of have to fire people, which sucks, but it's a sad state of affairs, I guess, nowadays. Devin's in the back with William Regal. He has news about the first match, the opening match of the Dusty Rhodes Classic, and he gets interrupted by Baron Corbin, saying that basically he doesn't play well with others, but he's not only going to enter this tournament, but he's going to win it. And he's like, well, it's funny you should mention that, because I got someone else that feels exactly the same way that you know quite well, and that is Rhino, and you guys are going to team up next week against the most dominant tag team in NXT history, the Ascension. Now, granted, I don't know if it's going to be NXT Ascension or if it's going to be WWE Ascension, Ascension Light, really light. So, I don't know what's going to happen with that. But seeing the Ascension back as a tag team in NXT, I'm very happy about that. Get rid of the stupid face paint, go back to the dark, demonic look. I think that'd be great, and I think it'd be great for them. Bring that back to WWE with them. Get rid of the Road Warriors ripoff. I hate that so much. They highlight the NXT UK Tour, which is going to host NXT Takeover in the United Kingdom on December 16th at 3 p.m. here on the East Coast. So you can watch it on the WWE Network live, 3 p.m. on the East Coast, which means I'm going to have to take that day off, because obviously that's the day that we got to do a podcast right afterwards. We get in-ring action next, semi-main event here, I guess, for the show. You get the Drifter, Elias Sampson. He's got a brand new gimmick. It's the former Logan Shulo from Pittsburgh Independent Wrestling. And, of course, you know, obviously, Corey Graves knows a lot about Pittsburgh Independent Wrestling because that's his bread and butter. And he kind of looks like Bradley Cooper somewhat. He looks a little bit like Asylum and the Flatliners, which you can currently see on The Amazing Race. Or you could see him on The Amazing Race before in Canada. Go Flatliners. Pay your dues. Get your stuff in. So, yeah, so he has new music. It kind of reminds me of the old Aces and Eights theme, which is rather interesting. He's got a guitar on his back, and I think they called him the Drifter because the word Highwayman was copyrighted, because he really comes off like that. He's got flared pants that have, like, the John Morrison look to it, but it's got that Fandango flair to it as well. And he's got cowboy boots, so it's a really weird combination, but I think it works. I really hope they do something with him. Him and, obviously, my boy, the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. I really hope they do something more with them. Bull Dempsey comes out. He's wearing a robe, pretty much from the marvelous Mark Marrow days. Best way to put it. So, yeah, the match is short, straight and to the point, and Bull ends up in some trouble. And he starts no-selling, and he's bullying up, I guess, at this point. And he does the Balls Mahoney-style punches, and the fans of court chant, Bull! 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 And he winds up like the normal Balls punch, and, of course, he does the side, like coconut butt. The Nakamaki side headbutt, and he hits the Vader attack. He heads up top, and he nails what I'm going to call, the Cannon Bull. Yeah, the seated senton or Doink's whoopee cushion. I'm going to call it the Cannon Bull. And if someone takes that from me, I'm not going to be surprised, because that seems like complete common sense to call it that. After Samoa Joe's match against Baron Corbin, he talks about, after the match is over, you see footage of him talking about how he's out to make statements. And he's going to do this until he gets championship gold around his waist. So, yeah, Joe and Balor, yes, make this happen. I definitely want to see the battle rage on. We get a hype video for Nia Jax, who I've been calling Nia Jax because I read. And it's pronounced Nia Jax. So, Nia Jax, the connection to, obviously, the Dwayne Johnson connection, and the fact that she's kind of big. She's going to probably end up being like the new Karma, so I think that that's probably what they're going to go with her. I think she's going to be a nice little foil for Bayley. I think that's going to be something I'm really looking forward to seeing them step in the ring together. And she doesn't really come off very well, but I haven't seen her in the ring yet, so I'm really curious to see what happens, to see if she has any of her DNA rubbed off, if you know what I mean. Apollo Crews is talking about his debut, his successful debut against, again, my boy Ty Dillinger, and he says the Apollo Nation is born. I see nothing but great things for the former UHA Nation, and I think that it's going to be a great time to be a fan of his in his run in NXT. So on top of this, we get Blake and Murphy and my girl Alexa Bliss. They are really peeved about losing the NXT Tag Team Championships to Simon Gotch and Aiden English, the Vaudevillains. And on top of that, Alexa Bliss doesn't care if Blue Pants has a contract or not. She wants her in the ring, and she wants it to happen this week. So we're going to get Alexa Bliss versus Blue Pants tonight. Like, literally tonight on the WWE Network in a couple of hours. And by the time you watch this video, it's probably already happened by now. But still, that's going to be happening. Main event time. Main event time in the match that I think should have main evented TakeOver, which would have been Sasha Banks and Bayley, which stole the show and stole the year, without a doubt. And I can say that given the fact that we're in September now. Like I said, 14 days. So, when it comes down to it, the Women's Wrestling Revolution, the WWR, is the big deal right now. And when it comes down to it, this is a match that could be for contendership. It wasn't announced as for contendership, but it could be down the line. It is Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Dana Brooke, and Emma. And like I said, I've never been big on Dana Brooke. It's going to take a lot to get me to like Dana Brooke. The crowd gives Becky a great reaction, but her song's really easy to sing along to, so I understand. And like I said, she's the one that should be getting the push, not Charlotte. Nothing against Charlotte, I think Becky's better, but the problem is Charlotte, well, they both kind of don't really have, like, extreme, like, personality, but Charlotte's got a name, and Becky, unfortunately, is probably going to be the one that doesn't get pushed as much. But even though I think Paige should be giving her rub to Becky, but, I mean, obviously Paige is not the one booking the angles, so there you go. Dana and Emma work over Becky while Drake is distracted on the floor. Yes, of course, like Ashley always brings up every week on the podcast, Drake is the referee in this match because Drake referees the women's matches. And Charlotte's on the floor. She got knocked down during the commercial break, because this is obviously after the commercial. And Drake is distracted, so is obviously not keeping the legal woman in the ring. There is allowed to be a double team because he's distracted, so he doesn't notice. Charlotte gets on the apron to try to get back into it. She gets knocked off yet again, and they argue because Dana ends up shoving Emma and says, I want a piece of this, and they hit a double suplex. Charlotte gets on the ring apron, grabs Dana's foot, and Emma with a drop kick sends Charlotte to the outside. Emma yells, finish her off, and what's her version of finish her off? Dana gets on the floor and literally just starts stomping Charlotte. Not what I think of finish her off. Hit the better than you driver on the floor. That would have made more sense. That's a finish her off moment, not just, I stomp you, I stomp you, I still look like a streetwalker, I stomp you. Nothing against Dana Brooke personally, it's just she looks like a streetwalker. She's dressed like a streetwalker. I think that may be the point, though. And Dana gets in the ring and yells, I saved you, and the crowd doing the New Day sucks, the Dana sucks chant, because that's how it works. And this ends up happening later on in the match. Becky is just like, she seems to be completely like not caring at this point right now. It's like, this match isn't really working. So, I mean, well, okay, it's going okay, but there's like saves and everything, and Emma hit a really sweet butterfly suplex for a near fall, and Becky hits the O'Connor roll, and yeah, I was reading ahead of myself and hit the 2 count for that one. And Becky runs into Dana, yells, I saved you. There you go, we'll go against it. The Dana sucks chant. They high-five, and she gets pulled into an enziguri kick from Dana, which gets booed by the crowd. Dana does her stripper dance in her poses and ducks the clothesline of Charlotte. 3 big chops, reverse neck breaker, big boot to Emma, and a double DDT, which Emma spikes awesomely, and Dana just takes it like a dead fish. Straight up on her, just straight on her face. No point. I guess you could say an overemphasis there, but I thought Emma's looked a lot better. I may be biased. It's possible. Covers both Dana and Emma numerous times, only gets a near fall there, and Becky heads up top going for the shotgun drop kick. Charlotte gets shoved into it by Dana and Emma, and this allows for Becky to hit a clothesline, a leg lariat to Dana, and Emma shoves Charlotte, a clothesline, a boot, and the Bexplex to Emma, so there you go, tosses Dana into Charlotte. Springboard kick sends Dana back into Charlotte, so basically, like, sacrificing her partner to do more damage. So, I mean, that happens. Dana gets nailed with the exploder. Emma makes a save. Hair mare. Again, no point in this match. Emma Mite sandwich to Charlotte, and she hits the Emma Mite sandwich to Becky. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And crowd just like, what? That really happened? So that's the 3 count, and it looked like Becky was supposed to kick out, but she didn't. Accidents happen in the ring sometimes. Charlotte ends up spearing Emma and hits the natural selection of the crowd booing, and she makes the cover because that should have been the actual finish with Charlotte going over, and Charlotte's music hits because why not? The fans, before that, counted her own pinfall. Dana attacks Charlotte, and Becky comes in with an exploder, not a fall-away slam. Again, sorry, Rich Brennan. And Charlotte locks in, not the figure 4, but yes, the figure 8 on Dana. The disarmer on Emma, and they tap out the heels, and that ends the show and the match. The match was fine going up to it. Like I said, you can definitely tell that the Charlotte Spear natural selection combo was the actual finish of the match, but they didn't go with it, obviously because Becky just, like, some sort of communication issue. I mean, she didn't kick out when she was supposed to. It's really clear when you watch it back. Knowing what you know, I mean, even if you weren't paying attention, you probably think, yeah, the Emma Mite sandwich probably shouldn't have finished off Becky that easily. So, yeah, it was a solid match going into it, though. I'm not sold on Dana Brooke. It's going to take a lot to sell me on Dana Brooke, and WWE, please sell me on Dana Brooke, because you're not going to at this point. I mean, I'd much rather... no. No, I'm not going to say that. I was like, I'd much rather see Eva Marie in this spot. Be careful what I wish for, right? So, it was a solid edition of NXT Takeover Part Deux. I guess you could basically call it that. Enzo got the crowd really hyped right away, and Eva Marie killed the crowd's reaction. Bull kind of got the crowd back up again, and then the 4-way women's match, hashtag Women's Wrestling Revolution, get it started. If that's the revolution we should be talking about, women's wrestling. Should have nothing to do with the dreaded D word. So, yeah, that's what we got for this week. That was NXT. Tonight, NXT on the WWE Network. You can check it out at 8 p.m. And on the card, you will see the first match of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, the Ascension against Baron Corbin and Rhino, as well as Blue Pants taking on Alexa Bliss. And there's some more things that are interesting because there's some independent names, like Biff Busick and Rich Swann apparently are going to be brought into WWE, whether they're brought in NXT or they brought in WWE. There's this big, big rumor right now. Yeah, big rumor right now that Johnny Gargano, which makes sense now, and the gentlemen of Chuck Taylor and Drew Gulak are the next people to sign with WWE. I don't know if Tommaso Ciampa has signed yet. I don't think he has. But it's interesting I bring him up because, also, spoiler alert, I'm not going to mention the finishes of the match, but I will tell you some of the other tag teams that are going to be included in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Those include the Mechanics, the team of Tucker Knight and Elias Sampson. I guess that's set up on house shows. You have Angelo Dawkins and Sawyer Fulton, Big Cass and Enzo Amore, which I'm honestly thinking they're going to win the tournament. The, super team of Samoa Joe and Finn Balor, the Lucha Dragons, Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, Adrian Neville and his mystery partner, which end up being Solomon Crow, which is a really awesome team, and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, and the final team, Tyler Breeze and Bull Dempsey. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. That's going to be your NXT video for this week, and that's going to end wrestling coverage for another week here on Pop. So join us at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Aaron, Ashley, myself, and Victor all talking WWE Raw. It is literally 2 weeks until Night of Champions, so we're going to be talking about that. And we've got a quick programming note. Tomorrow, Sip and Snack goes salty and sweet. So that's going to be your segment to kick us into the weeks before I go to Orlando. And then we have a lot of really awesome on-location Sip and Snacks that are coming your way. Friday, AJ's Movie Reviews has got 4 on it. We've got some limited releases and also is going to be focusing on some movies we're going to be watching this week. The Transporter, Refueled, War Room, and 2 others. So that's coming up. Gaming with Ash returns on Monday, Saturday. Brand new Pop Flashback. We're actually going to be going to the Magic Kingdom. So it will be the final in the series before I move over to a really awkward one about Pleasure Island, which is the week after. We'll talk about that later. Halloween Horror Nights content coming very soon. I'll mark my words. I got an originals video to do. I've got a decryption video to do. And I have a couple other surprises for you guys. I will be guesting on some podcasts very soon. I'll give you more information on that. So stay tuned for more information about what podcast I will be appearing on very soon. Also, Brand New Versus, the Robin Williams theme continues. We're going to go to Neverland. Oh, whoops. Fantasyland. Forget I even said that. Fantasyland is going to be your cryptic comment for this week. And obviously we roll into the Raw Popcast, which is very successful Raw Popcast every single week. Check it out here on Pop. So that being said, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. Remember, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, help spread the word about Pop. If you haven't yet, go to Facebook, click like on our Facebook fan page. Just takes a moment. Sir Owen Disney Pop. Search for Sir Owen Disney and Pop. Our new logo will be debuting very soon. I thank you to my good friend Aaron from the Horror Nights Updaters for creating such an awesome logo, and it's coming very soon. And you know what that means? Spreadshirt, get ready. Merchandise is coming. Also, if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Sir Owen Disney. You want to check us out on moviepilot.com. It's moviepilot.com/Sir Owen Disney. And if you want to pick up our new mobile app, check it out on iTunes under Sir Owen Disney on your iPhone, iPad, or any iTunes-related devices. Also, if you are a theme park or wrestling podcast would like me to be a part of your show, if you want to ask me questions, trip questions, Disney, Halloween, Horror Nights, Universal, I gotta change it up on you guys there. And also, personal questions I can't answer on here for good reason. You want to be a popcast yourself, be on one of the popcasts, or just want to say, hey, shoot me an email, sirowendisney@gmail.com. So in the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.